So we're parked right now in one of the parking areas in the Mule Conservation Area. So Hickory County, Missouri, about an hour north or northeast of Springfield, Missouri. Huge conservation area, about 2,500 acres. Has a beautiful river flowing through it. You've got access to that for fishing and canoeing and kayaking. It's got primitive campsites, some trails, open generally for hunting and hiking and all that good stuff. But anyway, we're about to take a look at a few of these tracts, probably on the south side, and this seemed like a good place to start because once we back up and go east on the county road, we'll basically be looking at the tracts. Beautiful sycamore tree right there. There's someone coming. We might let them go through first. Again, this is just one of the kind of the small little parking areas. They have more of a kind of a manicured campground area about a half-mile back to the west. And I'll zoom out. We've got MapRide open on the other phone here. The yellow route was us. We came in from the west, and that brown shaded area is the Mule Shoe, conservation area. So it's huge. There's actually a couple other portions of it up there, and then these purple lines are the private tracts out here. So a little break from the video here, sorry about this, but we were processing this video on the computer and realized that without a map, it was kind of hard to get an idea of where we were and what we were doing on these tracts. So here's an aerial. The shaded area is the conservation area. The purple lines are the tracts. There's 18 of them. Where we're starting is in the conservation area. That's where this video is being shot. If you look at the purple tracts, go toward the lower left side where tract 7 is, and then go toward the lower left side of tract 7 and follow the county road to the left for just a little bit. And that first kind of open area you see in the conservation area, that's the parking lot where we started. So we back up, we head east, so we go to the right, and we're following the county road on the south side of tracks 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we got the tracks on the left, Mule Shoe Conservation on the right, public land. We turn around, before we get to the end of track 10, we turn around and we head back to the west. We then go north. We go back to track 7, the lower left corner of 7, or the southwest corner. We cut to the north on that county road, because there's a county road on 3 sides. All these tracks have county road frontage. Cut to the north. I think we stop at the little creek bed that crosses the south part of track 7. We keep on heading north. We stop again around track 5, I believe. Keep on heading north. Track 4, track 3, track 2. Track 2 has the old homestead, so you'll probably see the driveway or the mailbox. We get to tract 1, we hang a right, and we go east and we check out all those tracts. So we stop, I believe, toward the east side of tract 1, little creek bed there, go all the way to the end of tract 18. We go beyond that, turn around and head back, and then we actually stop the video when we get back to tract 13 or 14 to hop out and look at a small creek bed there. So there you go, back to the video. We were extremely excited to get involved in this project because it's unbelievably hard to find something close to a nice conservation area. So when we saw these tracts or this acreage, and they were all basically heavily wooded and extremely close, if not bordering the conservation area, we were pretty excited about that. So here you can see the road comes to a Y, and we're looking right at one of the tracts, and we're actually looking into the sun, which is why everything's dark. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go east on this South County Road and kind of look at the tracts as we go. So according to the map I have, and I don't know if this is the final map, but according to the map I have, this is going to be tract 7 on our left, which actually borders this county road along its entire south side and borders that county road. This is just a little cut through area, but borders that county road along its west side. So as we look to the left or to the north, that's tract 7. And I know you can't get a great look from the county road necessarily, but certainly you can come and lay eyes on an available property. especially if you want to give us a call first and we can let you know for sure what's available. Looks like it slopes down from the county road for sure. I don't know if I would call that steep, but some people might. So use your own judgment on that. And then as we continue going east, we're coming on to Tract 8. Obviously still on the left, on the north. And looks like similar topography, slopes down off the county road. And again, directly across the road, you have a portion of the Mule Conservation Area. So, I mean, all these tracks are great, but these particular ones essentially border the conservation area, as it is literally on the other side of the road. So Tract 8 on the left. Tract 8 seems to get a little more level as you go easterly. And we know from seeing the topo map earlier that these tracks tend to slope down as you go north from the county road, down a little valley, and then they slope back up toward their middle and north sides. So now we're crossing onto Tract 9. And we're taking care to watch out for little turtles that are trying to cross the road. Hey, buddy. Now, Tract 9 actually seems to have a somewhat level area here. It's still got a bit of a downward slope, but I mean, with some of the smaller trees removed, we could pull the truck right into the property. Nice mixture of timber on here. We'll be excited to do some drone videos and really get a look at this from the air. So again, direct county road frontage and directly across from the Mule Conservation Area. So you've got your own private acreage where you can set up shop, or your deer camp, or even a home or a cabin. And you can literally walk right into thousands of acres of public land that you can generally use for hunting and trail riding and that kind of stuff. And now we'll be coming to the last tract on the south side, which the map shows as Tract 10. Of course, that'll be on the left as well. Looks like maybe this had a natural open area at one time or another. But again, this looks like a situation where if you spend a few hours removing some of the small brush or the small timber, you could probably create a driveway fairly easily. Four-wheel drive driveway. And then Tract 10 actually continues a little farther on the left, but we've got kind of a convenient turnaround here in the Mule Conservation Area, so we're going to take advantage of that. Make sure there's nobody behind us first. Done that a time or two. Gotten some mean looks, probably deservedly. Okay. So now as we head back westerly, of course, all the properties are on the right, and the Mule Conservation Area is on the left. So there's Tract 10. We're about in the middle of Tract 10 as far as the road frontage. And at some point here, we're transitioning into Tract 9. I'm trying to go slowly because I know it's tough to really see from a vehicle. There's an old fence we can see set back from the county road. It's not usable at all, but just watch out for that when you're walking onto the property or if you're creating a driveway, so you can get tangled up in that old barbed wire fence. You're now coming to Tract 8. And Tract 8 and Tract 7, all of these south tracts slope down as you move away from the county road. 8 and 7 seem to slope down a little more than 9 and 10 do. I would definitely think you could still create a driveway or whatnot on here. Just keep in mind it does slope down. And of course, we still have the Mule Shoe conservation area on the left side, on the south side. So coming, yeah, we already arrived at track 7, I guess. And now we're gonna kind of take this little short cut across road to get onto this other county road, and that's where we'll go north. So as we're facing north, now we have the Tracts on the right and the Mule Shoe conservation area on the left. And in particular here, the map shows that this is tract 7 on the right. And we said earlier that these south tracts kind of had a little valley within them. And it looks as though within that valley you've got kind of a little wet weather creek bed that's running under the road here. So that was the Mule Shoe, but here's the one of the tracts. So this will be tract 7 according to our map. And you can see the little creek running through the bottom of the valley. So that runs through 7, 8, well, 10, 9, 8, and 7, and then crosses under into the Mule Shoe, and then quickly empties into the Little Niangua River a few hundred yards to the west. And then that goes up and forms part of the Lake of the Ozarks. So definitely flowing today, but we did have quite a bit of rain the last, well, not yesterday, but a few days ago we had some pretty good rain. So doubtful that's a year-round creek, but it does have water in it right now. It's beautiful. Looks like it actually, the creek comes through that way and then back across. So that's tract 7. Now I believe tract 7 goes just about to the top of the hill. We'll see in a minute here. We've got MapRight open on the other phone. Still got the Mule Shoe on the left and the Tracts on the right. Now we're cresting that hill. And let's see about where we are. Oh, we're only halfway through tract 7. So that continues for quite a while on the right. And again, that's the conservation area on the left. So now as we look down into tract 7, it appears to slope down pretty steeply off this county road. And you can actually see, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I think we can see that little creek bed that's in the valley on the property. So tract 7 itself, don't have the topo map right here. Tract 7 appears to actually have the valley that goes westerly over the south end, and then a valley that goes southerly from the north side. So kind of two separate valleys on tract 7. You'll see a ton of deer in this area, turkey as well, but a ton of white-tailed deer, not only on the properties but within the conservation area. So we're getting almost to the end of tract 7 according to MapRight, and from what we're seeing here, it still is sloping down from the road. We'll be transitioning to tract 6, which will be on the right, on the east, and for right now we still have the conservation area on the west. That's what that sign is indicating. The conservation area goes a few hundred feet, continues for a few hundred feet to the north from here. So looking at track 6, and from what we're seeing, it slopes down from the road, but somewhere up here. Okay, so up here on track 6, there's an area where it appears it would be feasible to get in a driveway there. We're toward the northwest corner. So, I mean, you've got some cedar trees and some other stuff, but it looks like there's a type of topography that would allow a driveway in there. So now we've got a little more conservation area on the left, and we've actually got tract 5 on the right, according to this map. And tract 5 has quite a bit of road frontage. It goes to the top of the hill and then beyond. And pretty soon we'll be at the end of the conservation area. So we've essentially, the conservation area ended back there a couple feet. This is still tract 5 on the right. And according to the topo map, tract 5 probably has an excellent spot for a driveway. And we'll see in a moment here if that's accurate. Up at the crest of this hill, the property levels off really pretty nicely from what we can see. So opportunity for potentially a good driveway. And actually tract 5 appears to have a pretty nice amount of level area, which is unusual in this area. So it rises up a bit from the county road, but that's, you know, not generally a big deal at all when you're putting in a driveway, especially if you're using a 4-wheel drive. Okay, so MapRight says we're coming up on tract 4, which has less road frontage, but again, it is on the right. And there are some spots in here where you could potentially do a driveway. Perhaps even right there. It does rise up, but really doesn't appear to be steep from what we're seeing. Just a steady rise up, and then it levels out as you go back a little bit. So there could be some nice potential for a good site on track 4. And coming up on tract 3, again on the right, on the east side of the county road. It's great having that county road frontage. It looks like the county does a pretty good job of maintaining these roads, actually. So tract 3 on the right, you can see a wet weather, looks like a wet weather creek bed right there. And the land is beautiful. Appears to rise up fairly gradually as we look east from the road, and then it levels off 200 or 300 feet back there. Topo map shows that it kind of slopes down again after that, but that there is a pretty good sized level area. And as we go a little further, we'll be coming up on tract 2, which actually has the, I guess, the original home or cabin or whatever you want to call it on the property. And tract 2 does have county road frontage as well. I believe all the tracts do out here. And there you can actually see the, well, you can kind of see it back there. Maybe we'll have a better view up here. And there's the mailbox. The home or cabin was probably used as a residence at some point, but it's been quite a while. But it's super private. When they built it, they certainly picked a pretty site. You can get a little glimpse of it back there, but it sits back a few hundred feet from the road. Needs a lot of work, but might be useful for, you know, a hunting cabin or potentially a vacation home if it were fixed up. And then we've actually got one more tract on this county road, which is tract 1. Smaller tract, but that's on the right. So good county road access. And then as we go east, as we turn right, it's still going to be Tract 1 for quite a while. So now we're going east on County Road 66 as we come off County Road 525. Power is obviously right here. In fact, it's directly on Tract 1, and it's directly on Tract 2 where the old cabin is. So now we're looking easterly, and Tract 1 is on the right for hundreds of feet, and quite a ways. It's got a ton of road frontage along its essentially its entire north side. And now we're looking into the sun again, unfortunately, so everything will look dark for the rest of the video, probably. Okay. So Tract 1 actually goes all the way down this hill. And as we go east on this county road, from what we're seeing, all these tracks have access to electric because it's directly on their north side, as you can see. So there's a tiny little creek that's going to be on Tract 1. And that flows under the road. You can see fresh deer prints everywhere. It is actually flowing just a little bit. Got some big sycamore trees back there. It's generally the sign of a good water table, or so we've been told. And we'll just keep heading east and just staring into the sun for a few more minutes so we can see these other properties. Okay, so we crossed over that little creek bed, and now we're going up a small hill, and we'll be coming up on, it'll actually be Tract 11 according to this map, and that'll be on the right side of the road. Like all the tracts here, they're going to be on the south side of this road. Okay, so we come to the top of the hill, and we're coming right up on Tract 11. A little hard to see as we look into the sun. Trying to get the topo map. Tract 11, according to the topo, slopes down, and we can see that. It doesn't look too steep where we are here at the northwest corner, and actually slopes down to a little creek bed. I don't know if that's the same creek bed we just saw on Tract 1 or not. Nice mixture of timber. Got the power line directly on site, which is awesome. Looks like either cable or phone is running with the power, which is good to see. So now we're coming up on Tract 12, and this looks similar to 11. It slopes down as you come off the county road, and then there's that little creek bed back there, and slopes up after you cross over the creek bed. Yeah, you can see that little creek bed. We might walk back there later and see if there's actually water in that, if we're feeling motivated. And then right up here, we'll be transitioning to Tract 13. And topo shows that also slopes down from the road, but much more gradually than the last two tracks we saw. And again, you can see what looks like probably a creek bed about 150 feet back there. So that's interesting. And at some point right up here, we'll be coming up on Tract 14. Got a phone box there. Power meter. There used to be either some storage buildings or something back there, and there's really not anymore, but that's why they've got the power meter and probably the phone pedestal there as well. I believe those are on Tract 14, or they were. which would explain probably why we have what looks like an existing driveway on tract 14. Hasn't been used for quite a few years, but it does go back into the south there. And then pretty quickly we're coming up on tract 15. And these tracks right up here are actually fairly level on the north side. So that's tract 15 on the right. If you haven't noticed, it's early springtime, so about half the leaves are out in Hickory County. Looking back into the property, it's definitely rolling, but overall looks really usable. And coming up on tract 16. And 16 again, just like the previous tract, looks quite level on this north side, quite usable. There may actually be some type of existing old road or driveway on tract 16 as well that goes back in. And then we'll be coming up on, we've got 2 more tracks. We're coming up on tract 17. On the right. 17, similar to the others, slopes down a little bit coming off the county road. It looks pretty level from what we can see, but topo map shows it does slope down, and then once you get back a few hundred feet, it slopes more steeply. Nice mixture of timber. And then in just a little bit, we'll be coming up on tract 18, which will be the last tract out here. Okay. So now coming up on 18, of course, on the right. And the power line looks like it maybe angles, or the county road angles, one of the two. But that's going to be tract 18. And tract 18, according to the topo, slopes down and more steeply than the last several tracts. Nice road frontage. And there's kind of a turnaround, but that looks like it could be a bit soft, so let's go ahead and turn around in the neighbor's driveway. Beautiful pond. This is all the neighbor's property. This is not part of the tracks that we have. Oops, there we go. Okay, so now headed back to the west. And normally we turn the camera off, but since we're headed back that way anyway, we'll just go ahead and film it. And if you want to watch, great. If not, that's fine too. Tract 18 on the left. Good time of year to see a property because, I mean, you can see it's covered with a nice mixture of timber. But since all the leaves aren't out yet, we can still kind of get a pretty good idea of how the ground lays. So I think we'll see that when we do drone videos in a little bit here. And tract 17 on the left. All these tracks out here are awesome. It just really depends on, on what you're looking for. Familiarize yourself with the topo maps, with the drone videos, of course. As we mentioned earlier, you're welcome to come view any property that's still available. If you can give us a call first, that's great, and let you know. Whoops. We just went by 16, now that's 15 on the left. 14, we just missed the driveway on 14. 14 appears to have the power meter and the phone box. Okay, so likely hard to say for sure, but likely the obviously the power is those top two thinner lines, and then the dark black line goes down the pole, just pretty much right to that phone junction box or phone pedestal. And then it says buried cable, so it may go underground after that. And then track 13 on the left. Beautiful day, by the way. But it looks like we're gonna have some nice blue skies, which will be great. Track 12 now on the left as we head to the west. And at some point, I just kind of want to stop and take a look at that little creek bed. Let's see. Because the topo map does show some type of creek bed on 13, 12, and 11 from what we can see here. I guess this is as good a place as any to take a look. Okay. Let's just go ahead and walk back there and see what we can see. So we're parked on one of the tracks on the north side. This is tract 11 actually. We're on the county road, you can see the power there. We're just gonna walk southerly, a couple hundred feet maybe, and see if this is actually a little creek bed on the property. The topo kind of shows that it might be. Oh, it's beautiful back here. Nice mixture of timber. Really doesn't feel brushy, which leads us to believe that it's been likely quite a while since there's been any logging done. Oh, look at that. That's a little creek bed or babbling brook, whatever you want to call it. People always correct us when we name waterways, so feel free to tell us what this should be called, but we'll just call it a little creek. It definitely is flowing, but quite sure this would be more of a wet weather creek. It didn't rain yesterday, but it did a couple days ago. You can see deer prints everywhere. Oh boy! Watch out for slippery rocks. Always have a spare pair of shoes is advice that we really need to listen to. All kinds of fresh deer prints here. It looks like it has just a rock bottom and keeps on chugging. It's really beautiful. Mixture of gravel and rock in the bottom there. So we've got off on the north side, we've got the county road where the truck is. Slopes down as you get to this little creek bed, and then gradually back up again as you continue looking to the south. So we happen to be on tract 11 right now, but the topo map indicates that this little creek bed is on 11, 12, 13, probably 14 as well. It's neat because we go from areas of pure gravel to just pure flat rock. And then back to gravel deposits and deer prints and all kinds of cool stuff. These are big tracts, so it's going to take you a little while to fully explore these properties. And the little creek just keeps on trucking, so beautiful. We're excited to do some drone videos and see what these look like from the air.